What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about what could be a sensitive topic, so I'm going to try to use my words carefully. But I want to talk about a thing in Wonder Woman 1984, and it's not really all that much spoilers. I guess there's just a little bit. It's not anything to do with the ending. It's basically how Stephen Trevor came back, okay? I want to talk about that. I want to talk about the controversy the movie is in for this. It's kind of, in my mind or in my opinion, it's a smaller one only because, to me, there are so many things that is messy and confusing and just doesn't work. Now, again, remember, my general opinion on this movie, for people that say, like, I'm just bagging on it, my general opinion is, like, it's fine. Like, I like it. I'll watch it again, like, leading into Wonder Woman 3. I think there are really good positives, like all the cast, Gal Gadot in particular. So I think there are good things about this movie, but there are a lot of bad things. There's a lot of messy things. This one kind of falls underneath them, especially my number one thing, right? The Wishing Stone, which I talked about on my main channel a few days ago. That's my main weakness with it. But I see online the whole thing about consent. And I think people did mention this kind of in the review too. People did notice this right away. Honestly, to me, I kind of forgot about it because I was in the beginning confused as to how it works. So let's talk about it. So we are going into, again, very minor spoiler territories. Diana wishes in the stone. Now, she wishes in her mind, and somehow it infers. And which, by the way, Angry Joe, I watched Angry Joe stuff on this movie. He makes a good point. Everybody who wishes for things, they got very specific, right? Like one of them, like that one Egyptian or whatever, he wanted the wall to literally just be built. And a wall out of thin air was just created. Nukes were just created out of thin air. But when Diana wishes for Stephen Trevor to come back, he doesn't return from the dead. He possesses a person's body. They can't give him a real body. He needs to possess another. Okay, so that immediately doesn't actually make sense. It was kind of confusing. And remember, everybody, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, everybody sees him as the guy that we see like at the end of the movie, the guy that, the guy that it actually is, not Stephen Trevor. Okay, that's how everybody else sees him. In fact, that's how he sees himself, because he looks in the mirror and he sees that. But Diana says, "I only see you. Like I see Stephen Trevor." Okay, so we have that. They do some things together, and they don't get specific. I mean, we see them kiss, but you can infer they do other things, right? And again, I'm not going to say certain words because of YouTube, but it does bring up a good point where it's like they literally stole this man's body, and people are running around, people are running on the internet, and some people that probably have track records for being like crazy people, I'll give them this one. You know what I mean? Now, again, like you could say like I'm throwing a fuss like in this video, like I'm making an entire video about it, so maybe it does affect me. I mean, I did think it was an interesting enough topic that I wanted to talk about. I really did. I think it's worthy of a conversation. Again, it's not the biggest thing, and maybe that tells you something bad about me, that I don't care as much about this as I care about other things. But no, I mean, in reality, like there's way more, there's bigger problems in this movie that I'm focused on. Like if I think about this movie, I think of like some of the glaring flaws of it. I think about those before I think about this one. But I got to give them this one because they really it makes no sense. And I had actually seen people say this online. If this was done in reverse, they would have thrown a temper tantrum because like if a woman possessed another woman's body, you'd say like, "Oh my," like what I mean, it would be a bigger deal because it's a woman. But because it's a guy, it's not going to matter as much because we know kind of the thing that people are saying about men nowadays, right? That we're not all that good, okay? And then, by the way, Patty Jenkins thinks the same thing. I mean, it couldn't be more clear in this movie, by the way, that all men are evil and all women are good. And I don't want to get into that necessarily in this video. If you guys don't agree, we can talk about it, and then maybe I can make a video on that specifically. I know that's a touchy topic, but I really do think, honestly, she makes that pretty clear in this movie. But I really do stand firm on, if this was like reversed, if it was a girl taking control of another girl's body, there would be some major problems. I do agree. They're very they make fun of this guy quite a bit, which is played for like laughter and like, yeah, it's fine. They're going through his clothes and they're looking through his pictures, and they look at his bike and he doesn't know how to work the bike and stuff like that. I mean, they make a lot of jokes in that one kind of scene just in the movie, right? They make a lot of jokes kind of at this guy's expense, and it's like fine. And again, like when I watched it, I didn't really. It was weird because I was like, okay, so he's this guy, and like he's talking to Diana, and he has to remind her. So he's saying like the famous lines that he said, at the ending of the first movie, and then all of a sudden he's Stephen Trevor, and it's like, well, did he like morph, or that guy is the guy, and then now she sees him? It's like it is very weird. And and even at like I know they made a joke again on Angry Joe, where like at the end of the movie when like she's saying like nice outfit, she could say other stuff like, hey, remember that time we did this and that? Like, to me, it's technically it's kind of a weird situation where like that's a guy that you did stuff to while basically imagining that it was somebody else. That's kind of, I guess officially it was Stephen Trevor, but even with that, again, like you can go in like the more invasive kind of stuff that people are going into. I just look at it too, now that I've heard Angry Joe talk about it, now that that's kind of in my mind, I can't really shake it where like I just think it's kind of more stupid than anything else. Like, did they do that specifically so they could have that ending scene? Did they do that specifically so they could have scenes where they make jokes, where they can kind of pad the length, even though the movie didn't need to be any longer, or where they just need more comedy aspects, so they do that? Like, I don't know, like, you still could have had Stephen Trevor be that, where he's kind of like, he doesn't know what's going on in the world because it's like a different time period. You still could have had that, but not have him possess another person's body. And again, everybody's wish, even if they didn't want it to be specific, it turned out, again, that's kind of the continuity stuff of the movie that was messed up. Even if they didn't want it to be super specific, it was. So when the guy wished for literally a barrier in between two regions of the world, a literal wall just grew out of the ground and created itself. That's like the dumbest thing you could ever do. So if that happened, why can't you actually? Now, I'm not saying like, I don't know, he's a bag of bones like in a coffin and he resurrects, but like, I don't know, just have him return, like his body, he's just back, right? And then when he dies, he just like turns into light and is gone. Or he literally just kind of like, I don't know, like flashes himself in. You know what I mean? Like kind of like just like appears, like poofs, okay? Like, I don't know why you couldn't have done anything like that rather than, well, no, a wall can appear out of nowhere and, nukes can appear out of nowhere, but for you, your soul is going to be inside him, and you are going to be inside. He's gone. I mean, this guy, they killed this guy. They literally murdered this guy because where was he during the entire movie? He wasn't there. Because even if people saw him, it still wasn't him because he was acting as Stephen Trevor. So it wasn't actually him. His body was literally controlled or possessed. So again, like, that's kind of the way I go. I know the controversy is more of like, again, like they're invading a person's body and they did stuff with that person's body kind of without consent and stuff like that, which you could totally go down that route, and I would too, right? That's definitely an issue. But at the same time, I think it's just more kind of pointlessly stupid that it had to happen this way versus that. You know what I mean? Hopefully this didn't upset people. Hopefully I didn't confuse people either, right? That's kind of my main goal with most of these videos. So let me know in the comments below, guys. What do you think? Do you think, do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. I'd like to do more Wonder Woman videos. It kind of depends on how these do, just in general. So if you guys do like this stuff, I'd love to do more. Obviously, kind of a slow news week with it being New Year's week. So, if I need to fill in a video with another Wonder Woman video, I would love to do that. Okay? Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.